Cheer, cheer, cheer. It's the Black Richard Gear. What's up, what's up, what's up with everybody? How everybody doing on this, what is it, Saturday? Saturday night, afternoon. You know, is it your boy Time is Money here, and I got the champ with me today. Shout out the guy, Sage. Shout out to you, man. Give a round of applause for him.
How's it going,
all those
everybody?
things, man. Definitely, Sage, man. I'm glad you got back up here, brother. You know, you was out here about a month ago, 2 months ago?
Yeah, it was around June, summertime.
Yeah. June, he came here with no belt. Now he came back with the jury, you know, came to show off. You know, I got to, shine the belt up a little bit for you guys before we started. But shout out to you, man, good brother, man. It's a blessing, like I said, man, to see you rise so fast. Like, how did that happen?
Just consistency, you know, just staying at it, you know, having a goal.
Mm-hmm. Goals.
You know, and visualizing it and really keeping your eye on the ball.
Truth.
That's all it really takes.
Yeah, I believe it, man. Like I said, I've known you from different professions in life, so I definitely know you got a strong work ethic. You know, you're pretty thick-headed as well. So I know when you get set on something, you stick with it.
That's
man.
what helps me with the punches too. When I get punched. Big old head.
Definitely, because I know we were just talking about that shit. I know you used to be like on like real strict with your diet.
Yeah.
I used to watch you used to be eating not what type of grain was it, like
millet? Yeah,
millet.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is this guy eating? He like, it's millet time. You got your little bowl every morning, eat. And I'm like, damn. And now to see you, like I said, I don't know if you were pursuing fighting back then, but it's good that you were like even disciplined like that with your diet and everything. So did you have to change your diet to get into shape for this fight?
Yeah, I mean in general, because I cut down to 170 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk around about 190 pounds. My heaviest is 195, 200. So dieting is key.
Yeah.
Right now, the diet I'm floating around with now is the keto diet.
Keto, I think I heard.
I get into the keto a lot. So with that diet, it's just basically a low carb diet. I cut down the carbs, so no dairy. Put no pasta, no rice. It's a vegetarian. It's vegetables, steak, chicken, fish. And high protein. It's a high protein and high
it's
calorie.
Funny, some more diets, man. I just tried to become a pescatarian, man. Shout out to my homie Snoop. She tried to put me into the pescatarian lifestyle, but man, I eat shrimp and fish and things like that. So I figured I'll be able to do that diet out of any of them. But man, it's hard to find shit that to eat healthy, man, because there's so many choices that are bad for you.
Exactly.
A lot of it out there for you, man. So like I said, but you kind of stay away from all that while you.
Yeah, like I said, it's all about being disciplined, and you gotta have a goal. If you don't have a goal, a lot of things that you're trying to achieve is there's no end. It's like you put a map, but there's no destination.
Like they say, what is that? Goal is like a ship without a rudder.
That's it.
You'll go and get anywhere.
Yeah, you can go anywhere. So you gotta have a destination, and that's how you'll be able to achieve things as far as dieting and things of that nature.
All right, so now that you're talking about goals, so do you have a goal to get like an upper weight class, or are you going to get like another title, another belt?
Yeah, I got 2 more amateur fights in my career. I'm looking at looking already fighting in Maine. I think that's going to be in March. Those guys are fighting next month. Whoever wins that belt, I'm most likely going to be out in Maine. And then in January, I'm either looking at being at Mohegan Sun or back into Schenectady, New York. Either one, or both options.
Schenectady. I couldn't never say that word. I tried to tell this guy I worked with where you will be fighting at. And I was like, yeah, he work at Saskatchewan, one of them things like that or something like that. But that's what's up, man. That's real hard, man, that you be out there doing it. And so I see though too, like your rankings, you ranked pretty high in the area.
Yeah. New England #1 in middleweight.
So hold on. You gotta say that a little bit slower for the people. Say it louder for the people in the back. Said #1 in New England.
Yeah.
Number one out here in these streets. Fuck wrong with them.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I said, there's a ton of talent. It's a lot to be said to be ranked in New England. Ton of talent. Very well balanced MMA fighters. You got really phenomenal gyms. I'm serious. You got Lausanne MMA in Boston. You got Team Link by My Way. You got a phenomenal gym, Triforce in Rhode Island. Okay. So these guys are all UFC caliber fighters.
Yeah.
That have these gyms. and they train amateurs in their gym. So for me to be able to be ranked above them says a lot. So it's pretty cool.
So you said UFC. So is that your goal to get the UFC one day?
Yeah, my goal is to put on a show. That's my goal, point blank period. Because tomorrow's not promised. But obviously, absolutely, my aspirations are to fight the best in the world. And UFC contains that, and there's other promotions that contain it as well. So
yeah, because they got like Bellator. Yeah. Then I think there's only two I know.
Yeah, Bellator, ONE FC, and you got PFL. That's another one, awesome promotion. Yeah. These guys are for you fighting the best in the planet. So that's my aspirations, to fight the best in the world. I and get paid handsomely to do it.
So you said number 1 in New England. So that's New England, but I think you said something too about, and is it somewhere else you ranked too?
So New York, obviously, because my last 2 fights are out there. Number 3 out there, and then I'm number 5 in the Northeast. Northeast is Vermont, Canada.
Oh wow! So you got so New England, is what the Maine, Massachusetts, Connecticut.
Right.
But Northeast, pretty much anything that's in this right corner of America
of the country. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely hard. So it's basically only 4 motherfuckers that's out here fucking with you. Everybody else better be on their P's and Q's. Shout out to homie Greg. He a gym trainer out there too now doing his thing. Greg, he said, you might have to come train him for his next bout, man. Help him make that weight.
Yeah.
I see that guy. I seen him slim down, really big, man.
Yeah, for sure. We've known Greg for a while, man, and he used to be pretty big. And he
cut a lot.
He cut a lot, but it goes to show you again. It's he had and I was following him too on his Facebook, so I watched him make the transition, and it's all about, like I talked about, having that goal, that destination, because once you have that destination in your mind and you visualize it, it doesn't matter if your loved ones don't see it or your friends don't see it or family don't even see it. But as long as you have your eye on the ball and you visualize it every single day, you manifest it. It doesn't matter what the goal is. It could be, to lose weight, to compete. If you want to be president, as long as you focus on it, you can do it.
Definitely, man. So, like I said, people, sometimes you just gotta believe how they say. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're absolutely right.
You're absolutely correct.
Whichever one you want to pick. But so you said, how long does it usually take you to train for a fight? Like, are you going days, or you taking 6 days in a row and then breaking for one day?
Yeah, I mean, the last year I was crazy active. I did 4 fights in 10 months.
Damn.
Which is insane. Especially at amateurs. Yeah. But like I said, I had a goal, and it was and I wasn't really concerned about how the challenges and the training. I love to do that aspect of my life. And I love waking up. I love competing. So all the hours and early mornings, I'm talking about 3-4 o'clock in the morning, waking up to train. I didn't care, because I enjoyed it. I was happy to do it. So that being said, I mean, I usually, the way it works is I get an opponent and I start camp. My camp's usually 6-8 weeks, depending, right? 2 months or so, 3 months or so. Then I fight. And then the way it works is I steadily get myself into peak form, peak shape. And once it's time for me to cut weight and fight, I'm in peak form, and then I get right out of it, because it's not healthy to maintain that type of condition.
That's wild. I never heard that before. So fighters don't stay in the shape that they're in. So that's why I guess when they say in fighting shape.
Yes, that's exactly.
So Floyd Mayweather, I always kind of figured he's one of them guys that's always fit, always in shape, but he's not always at fighting weight.
Exactly. Gotcha. He's not in fighting shape. He can be in shape. He could probably destroy a regular schmo on the street. But fighting shape, you gotta get yourself into it. And there's some fighters that fight short notice fights, and they're able to get a real quick swing and get in there, which is possible as well.
Yeah, don't worry about that. I didn't mean to send him the voicemail. We had the break call Bass back, man. That was the Bass God calling from upstate. He got sent upstate. So hopefully Bass called back. We get Bass on the line. Bass always want to check in. That's why I'm an artist, Fuego. Free Fuego Bass. If you guys didn't get the Free Fuego shirts, definitely come cop them. And Bass may be tuning in a second, so y'all may get to hear from Bass. Should have hit him on there. But besides that, so I know you said your next defense is in a couple weeks. So what date are those? Do you got the date yet for them, or are they still waiting to fight each other?
Yeah, so those guys are going to be fighting in the middle of November next month. So after they fight, most likely going to be in Maine, I believe in March or February, March. I don't know which one. But I know for sure Mohegan Sun is in January 4th.
January 4th. Put that down in your calendars.
So that's the date that I'm really intrigued, honestly, and really want to compete. Just being that it's close to home.
Okay.
I can get the friends over and all the fans and.
Definitely, I'll definitely pull up, man. I don't mind always showing my support. Then also that's well enough leeway, so none of y'all got no excuses. Pull up.
Yeah.
We're gonna show some support for the champ.
Nice.
We're gonna get some sage shirts. If you smell what the sage is cooking. I copywritten that trademark, so if you hear him say that, you see them shirts, know where he got it from.
Oh yeah.
But definitely, man.
Listen, I don't have any parts of this. I'm not gonna get sued.
But no, man. But definitely, brother. While you're here, I just want to pick your brain. Like I said, so I know right now going on to Hartford, they have what's called the Trap back, the Trap kickback. My boy Antoine Trap is a producer from Hartford. He produces a lot of music for a lot of the artists out there. Mm-hmm. But he one thing he does too is just like these building sessions where he have everybody come to his studio and they just kind of like politic or whatever. And he was setting up something tonight, so shout out to home. If y'all around the Hartford area, y'all can pop up. He just posted the address. He moved it to Windsor Street. But one thing he's gonna go over though, he was talking about just things in the black community. I know he's a black Israelite. I know you're probably one of the most prominent. You're probably number one black Israelite in New England as well. My boy Sage, man. I know you used to be always put me onto some game about that. So who schooled you to the black Israelites?
Oh, I see. That's a really good question. Like when I first came to Springfield, I was in college. First of all, I was in ASC, like 18, 19 years old, and I remember it was me and my buddy. We were in the dorms, and it was actually during homecoming.
Okay.
So I met this brother named Zephyrin Mongrel, and he was doing carpentry at the time in college. So not too many people know about my college story, why I even came out to Springfield, but I had any money. I had a tuition bill to pay, and I had all types of stuff I was worried about that time. So I was like, this is a pretty cool opportunity for me to go work for this guy and learn some things. And when I started working for the guy, he started breaking down some information and some things that I just never heard in my life. He made me question what I've been taught since I was young, and I've never experienced that. I've never questioned anything that I've been taught. You learn things.
Taught not to question
it. You're taught not to question it. I mean, your family tell you some information. You learn it at school, so you think it to be law. You don't ever question it. And they had some thought-provoking questions, and that I questioned, and then we started diving into scripture and reading the Bible from an aspect that I've never read before, and it was actually a tremendous experience because I grew up Christian. My
most of us are.
Yeah, most of
baptized.
us are. Yeah,
that's when you're in the South. If you're in the South, they not only they take baptism real. They will baptize you in the lake.
In the lake,
same lake with the alligators and all that shit. It's not cool.
Yeah, I experienced it. It's same here. So I got to really dive into scripture and dive into a lot of truths that I was exposed into it. So, learning that and having that knowledge made me first aware of what's going on around my surroundings, how to approach certain situations. And that was good. Just cancel that. Yeah.
So I'm not the only one getting phone calls today, but no, that's funny though. So you said it basically made you aware of your surrounding situations. Yeah. I kind of got the similar thing with me. I was probably about 13, probably when I first got put on, not necessarily the black Israelites, but kind of I want to say more into studying other things besides Christianity. Because a lot of us, that's all we're taught. Because our parents growing up, either growing up in the South, or whether you even up New England here, everybody's pretty much Christian or Baptist or something like that. So we all kind of got the same backgrounds and things like that. But I never really had nobody break down to me knowledge. To my boy Chuck, shout out Uncle Chuck. Uncle Chuck was like, man, definitely have tag segment here. My boy Uncle Chuck was like, yo, yeah, you ever heard of Malachi York? I'm like, no, I never heard of Malachi York. Then he used to always put me on all these different books and things like that and just get me studying. And like you said, it kind of opened your mind up like, damn, why did he tell me this if it's like this? And now it's so funny to see all the woke people. It's so cool to be woke now.
Let me tell you something. When I was first starting to learn about history and truths and things of that nature, people used to look at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
They used to look at you like, well, what are you talking about? When you start questioning ideologies that you've been taught your whole entire life, it's almost like the Matrix.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's how they used to describe it to me. The elders did. Zephyrin and Victor, all them guys. They used to describe it as like, Sage, it's the Matrix. Everybody's taught a certain way, a certain style, and once you bring something different, you startle people.
Yeah, they try to buck the system, or they want to stay where they at.
Right.
And so one thing I was wanted to ask you, right? Because this is like irks my soul. From well, you probably won't say this like what most Christians, Catholics, whatever they'll say. Oh, just read the Bible. I'll be like, yeah, such happened. Oh, I can tell you don't read the Bible. Motherfucker, how can you tell? I'm telling you I read the Bible. Right. And they're like, yeah, you got to read it more. What? Yeah. Read it harder.
Right.
Read it front to like. What do you got to say to that? Like, why do they do that? What is that like? What is it like?
It's a defense mechanism, because they're not reading the Bible.
That's what I thought. So I'm like, yo, it don't make no sense to me for you to keep telling me to read the Bible, read the Bible, read the Bible. I'm saying I read the Bible.
Yeah, it's a defense mechanism because most institutions, Catholic institutions, Christian institutions, they're being fed the scriptures. So you got the pastor or whoever the one going over the scripts, and they're giving them that information as far as it's an opinionated,
that's the way how you take it, right?
That's how you take it. So they're not reiterating what the scripture's saying. They're just giving you their point of their perspective. So that's the defense mechanism, that most people do. And I come to find out, in my personal walk, because when I first started the walk, super aggressive, right?
Yeah.
This is the Bible. This is what the Bible says. And because I was young, I had all the fire and all the energy. Like, oh my God, save the world, save the planet. Like I'm telling you, man, I used to be in it. So, but it's so important to have elders, and individuals that you can go to and ask about. Hey, I see the scripture says this, and this is what it says. This is word is bond. But what elders do is they not only show you scripture, but they teach you how to live it.
Yeah.
Because there's a big misconception and a discrepancy there, because you read it, but you don't know how to apply it. That's where a lot of people falter. Then they stray from it. They're like, oh, you know what? It's bullshit. It's bullcrap. Whatever. But if you got somebody there that can elder, and I highly recommend anybody, that's interested in learning the truths of the Bible, to find an elder. And don't be afraid to ask them questions, because believe it or not, that the wickedness, Satan, and things of that nature, they're author of confusion. We're taught, even in society, we're taught that if we have an issue, that we have to take it and we have to put it in the closet. That's what we're taught, believe it or not. And when you keep it in the closet, when you keep it underneath the bed, it grows. In scripture, it talks about communing. It talks about being a brotherhood, communing with people and confessing your faults. Don't be afraid we have to be like the children. When kids get mad, they fight and they become friends the next day. Yeah. Right? Kids don't know how to close their mouths. They'll tell you everything. Because that's where they're coming from. And we have to be the same way. I'm not saying to just go to anybody and tell your business now, but you got to go to people that you trust and that you build a relationship with, and you got to confess to them, what.
Yeah, because I just recognized it, because like I said, I remember one thing about my boy Uncle Chuck used to be like, said NWAPO stands for sound right reasoning. And basically, it like the reason why all that stuff in the Bible be sounding crazy to us, because it don't make sense.
Right.
And that's another thing. You got to sometimes just use common sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, man, common sense should be a religion. You
right.
motherfuckers should be practicing that. Like.
But that's the thing with people, because anything that's that powerful, especially like scripture, we like to take and we like to bend it. That's also a part of it.
But real fast, you talking about putting things away. So I went and saw the Joker movie over the weekend.
Yeah.
So spoiler alert, in case any of you guys haven't watched the Joker, turn this off, click it off, cool, do what you're gonna do. Share my post later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Joker, this movie wasn't more into action. It was more dealing with like mental health issues and things like that.
Yeah.
Shout out to my homeboy Frex, Mike Parker. That was the first white boy I got cool with, man. Shout out to home, man. We was in college back in St. Leo, made a group called the Badass Babies, man. We was fucking shit up.
Nice.
But I digress. Yeah, so Joker, the movie was good as hell. I liked it a lot because it basically gave me everything I needed to know about the origin of Batman, from why Batman is like he is, how he started, why there's even the origin of Joker, like why the Joker is the Joker. I don't know if you saw it. Did you get to see it?
No, I haven't got
well, basically, this was mental health issues. I even see somebody walk out of there, and the person I was with, they was like, man, he must have walked out because he feels some type. Maybe he feel like it relates to him.
Right.
And that's what I think is happening.
Yeah.
This movie is so relatable to people because it's talking about mental health issues,
right.
depression, things that...
Taking the skeletons out the closet.
Taking the skeletons out the closet.
People
like,
are uncomfortable with
they were uncomfortable with, and that's all it is, that they were uncomfortable with seeing that type of stuff. Not even just that. Society. The Joker movie is a good movie that's talking about how people dealing with society. How, the poor and the wealthy. I hate to give you spoiler alert, but they painted Batman father to be like Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. So it's this crazy way the way they made the movie go, but man, it's a dope movie. But one thing I liked about it was like the fact that it actually asked that question.
Right.
And my guy Charlamagne, he talks about a lot about mental health and things like that. Mm-hmm. So like with you, like I said, you're a pretty sharp dude. Do you ever have any things that you ever, like you said, you talk to your elders about mm-hmm. things? Do you have like any like, I don't know, let's say, are you ever finding yourself depressed? Like, say for instance, fighting, are you like nervous before a fight, anxiety before a fight?
Yeah, these are real emotions, people. Like fear, depression, happiness, these are all emotions that we all go through, and it's really about how you go about dealing with them. And the issue that we have, and I'm just going to keep reiterating, is that in society we're not taught how to deal with these emotions.
Well, because I think the reason being is because they make money off our emotions.
Exactly. Yeah, pharmaceutical companies, entertainment, everybody.
Everything. Like, we want you to go watch this movie so you can cry. Exactly. We want you to go buy some tissue so you can...
keep you busy. That's the idea. So, but you got to be aware of that, So, the whole thing for fighting with me, what I love what it does is it teaches humility, number one, mm-hmm. and teaches self-mastery. It teaches you how to master yourself. Because if you can master yourself, you can master anything.
Yeah.
So that aspect in depression, absolutely, that is extremely real. I was having this conversation with one of my coworkers the other day. I was letting them know about the roller coaster of emotion that you have with fighting, because it's like a drug. Mm-hmm. It's like any other drug. It's like anybody who goes out or drinks alcohol. It's a drug. So the drug is getting in there physically and winning. That's the drug, that high. The only problem is that high only lasted for how long?
About 30 seconds after you win, you raise your hand,
and you're done.
Then it's on to the next one.
And you go on to the next one. But what happens when you're on to the next one, right, is now that you experience that, you got the high. And right after you have the high, what I've even experienced myself, with only 4 fights, is you get right back to a depressive state. You get right back because now you know that you have to put a certain amount of effort to get back to the drug. Because that's the drug. The drug is never training and all that. That stuff is fun. That stuff is amazing. It's getting in there.
Well, my drug is definitely food. Cause before I got here, I dropped my salad, man, on the floor. I had the salad because, like I said, I'm trying to be vegan or pescatarian, one of those two.
Nice.
Made a banging ass salad, chickpeas in there, the cranberries, the sunflower seeds, all types of shit.
Yeah. Dropped everything.
Bang! Nigga, my mood went
downhill.
Because, like you just said, it's funny you just say that. I'm thinking about all the money I spent on that salad.
Right.
The time I had to make that salad.
Exactly.
I'm gonna have to go back over here to the salad bar again.
Because you invested time. You invested yourself.
And we don't get that time back.
You don't get it back.
Time we don't get back, man. Yeah. That's crazy, man. You say that because that's literally how I felt, man. Like, mad as hell about that salad.
You felt let down, right?
Let down, man. Like, nigga, you had 2 more steps to make it. Like, that's all you had to do, man. But that's dope, man. Like I said, I'm glad, like I said, you used the fighting to your advantage.
Right.
And so it say USMATA. That's what?
That's the promotion. So there was 2 promotions out there in New York that it was USMTA, United States Muay Thai Association. And then there was the Cage Wars. I was fighting under Cage Wars, but I fought for the USMTA belt.
Right.
So that's why it says USMTA on it. It's just the association, the promotion that I was fighting underneath.
Now, I was going to say that. So the next umbrella, you said you got 2 more belts you're trying to get. What are those under?
So those belts, the one for Mohegan Sun is going to be Reality Fighting.
All right.
Okay. And then the one for Maine is New England Fights.
New England Fights. All right. So you trying to take over all of New England, literally.
Yeah, that's the idea. Get
all the belts.
That's it. Get two really solid super fights, man, and solidify myself as the best, and then on to making onto bigger and better things.
So you got some big pants. You need 3 belts.
That's it.
Fuck wrong with them. But one more topic before we get ready to get out of here. So being able to talk about black culture, black religions, and black embetterment, empowerment. My boy Tyler Perry, he's not really my boy. I don't know him personally yet, but he created his own studio out in Atlanta. But his studio, he built it on a former Confederate military base. Mm-hmm. And they say he actually built like the biggest studio there is in the United States. Like he built the biggest one. And so, we both come from careers where you work for yourself and you're off commission and things like that. So we kind of know what it's like to be your own business owner. What do you think about what examples did that show you that Tyler Perry just put off right there?
Yeah, I mean, listen, more power to him. I mean, that's if it's his money.
His money, can do what he want with it.
It's his image, it's his goal. I mean, if that's what he's striving to do, I mean, it is what it is. I personally, I'm not the biggest Tyler Perry fan. I'll be honest with you, but
honestly,
like I said, honestly.
So what is about it? Because I seen Spike Lee said something about him too. He felt like Spike Lee said he be doing a lot of cooning.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that do a lot of cooning, man. I mean, it's
He just didn't. I guess he didn't really like the portrayal of like the black woman in the dress type thing all the time.
Yeah, but it's been done before.
Yeah, but then also I guess like it seemed like I don't know. I'm probably guessing, but it seemed like to him, like Tyler Perry, a lot of his storylines are always the black man abusing a woman type things. Right. Always that.
Right.
So what is your beef with him?
That's. I'll be honest with you. I mean, that's kind of the same sentiment because you got to observe. Individuals and how they present things and what they represent, and that's kind of what he represents, and that's his thing. So, and there's a lot of there's also more things with his history when he was younger and things of that nature that you just gotta understand that this man has a platform and that his perspective might be different than yours. So don't feel sensitive or don't feel attacked when he presents something like the black man being abusive or the cross-dressing thing. With me is that's not my life. I had my father and I had my mother in my life, and that's just not my perspective. That's just not how I view black people or any individual really. So that's my thing against him. And people have to be aware of who they're getting the information from. Like Tyler Perry, he I think he got molested, right, by his uncle.
By uncle, something like that.
He said nature,
or aunt or something. He said somewhere he said he got molested along the way.
It's abuse. There's a ton of abuse in there, and just be aware that individuals who have platforms, they present their opinion and their perspective, and it might not be the same as mine because I wasn't getting molested by my uncle or nothing like that. So that's my thing with him. It's just,
and it's funny you say that too because like you just said about one thing people always say he's creating his own table, his own platform.
He's got his own platform.
Somebody said too that he said actually that he's actually building a compound for displaced LGBT community people or battered women and things like that. So he's creating a compound there for them, like you said, probably something
perspective
for his perspective.
Yeah. So more power to him. Yeah. If that's what he wants to invest his money in.
Yeah.
More power to you.
And it's funny too. Somebody related to him. They said he built his own table. That's kind of like what I did. They wouldn't give me my own fucking show, so I built my own show.
Yeah, built his own platform. He's got his message he wants to set across. Just like like everybody else. Do we have to agree with it? I don't. But
now somebody said that. Somebody said that too. I don't know. It was like semi shade.
Yeah.
They was like, congratulations to Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll use this platform to show black people in a more positive light now that he has his own studio and doesn't have to ask anybody.
Listen, you got to understand it is what it is because he's got a perspective, you know, and you can't beat that out of him. It's something that he lived.
Definitely.
So it's, like I said, we don't have to agree with it, you know. Like I said, I've given you my stance.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what he wants to do.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
And we definitely appreciate you for coming on, man, and keeping it real, being honest with us.
Yeah.
And as I always tell all my people on the show, if you see any of the artwork that you like in the back, feel free. You can holler at my artist, Tatiana Torres. Also, you can look her up on Instagram, selfie Marie_13. I always get it wrong, man. But she's always gonna comment and share it anyway. So check her out. You can see all her pictures in the back. Get all of those. And also, shout out the clothes in the back. Take a duck shade. Duck the other way. There we go. You see that? Taylor credentials. Those shorts is fire. We got some grits and co in the back too. And don't forget, we still got the Free Fuego base shirts, man. So holla at your boy, man. And definitely y'all stay blessed. And make sure y'all pull up to that trap kickback tonight, man. It's gonna be lit.